In this today's mathematics session, we are going to discuss about the inverses of all the trigonometric functions, just as I mentioned on the board. See, in the previous class and in the previous classes, I already deal with the trigonometric function sin x and its inverse sin inverse x. See, we discussed sin x with different domains, and to mention the inverse of sin x as an inverse trigonometric function, we need a bisective sin x from the domain to codomain. So by checking with different domains, we finally concludes that sin x with the domain minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 to the codomain minus 1 to 1 is a bisective function. Okay, this is a bisective function, and its inverse is also a bisection, and we call that inverse as the inverse trigonometric function, inverse sine trigonometric function. See, the codomain of sin x is minus 1 to 1, or you may say the range of sin x is minus 1 to 1. This range will become domain for sin inverse x, so minus 1 to 1, and the domain of sin x will become the range for sin inverse x. Okay, so this is about sin x, and we discussed about the sin x in different points. Roundabout we discussed 5 points related to the sin x and corresponding to domain and range of sin x and sin inverse x. Okay, so for suppose once if you check the quadrants, see, we know from trigonometry we have 4 quadrants, and this line is corresponds to 0 degrees, this is corresponding to pi by 2, and this is for pi, this is 3 pi by 2, and this is again for 2 pi. Okay, when coming to sin x is positive in first quadrant, sin x is positive in second quadrant, sin x is negative in third quadrant, negative in fourth quadrant. Sin x is positive in first and second quadrants, negative in third and fourth quadrants. We know it. So to make sin x as a bisective function, we need to consider one positive quadrant and one negative quadrant, and if they are consecutive, then it is somewhat comfortable to frame the domain. Okay, see, this is positive, this is positive, this is positive, this is negative. So if your domain is from pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, by taking the domain as these two quadrants from 90 degrees to 270 degrees, then also we will get a bisective function. But if you treat this 3 pi by 2 as minus pi by 2, 3 pi by 2 or minus pi by 2, both are same. If you consider the angles from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, in this quadrant the values are negative, they results us from minus 1 to 0. In this quadrant the values are positive and the results are from 0 to 1. So if you consider the angles from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, then sin x will cover all the values, all the resultant values minus 1 to 1. So if your domain is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 to the range minus 1 to 1, this is bisective and its inverse exists. See, the similar discussion is acceptable for the remaining trigonometric and inverse trigonometric functions. Okay, now I have cos x. Just have a look cos x. See, we need to consider a bisective cos function with the domain and codomain, and then we need to consider its inverse. Coming to cos x, okay, as I mentioned you, for sin x we just consider this fourth quadrant as well as this first quadrant, and now we are thinking about cos x. See, cos x is positive in first quadrant, cos x is negative in second quadrant, cos x is negative in third quadrant, cos x is positive in fourth quadrant. Okay, all silver teacups, we know it, right? Cos x is positive in fourth and first quadrants, negative in second and third quadrants. Since we need one positive and one negative quadrants together, so see, we are considering this first quadrant and second quadrant together for the domain of cos x. So cos x, the domain of cos x is from 0 to pi. 0 to pi is the domain, and the range is simply all the values from minus 1 to 1. Since the domain and range of cos x are from 0 to pi to the minus 1 to 1, then for cos inverse x, this range will become domain as -1 to 1. This domain will become the range for cos inverse x as 0 to pi. This is about the cos function. And now when you are thinking about this tan x, okay, see tan x, again we need to consider a bisective tan function. So to make the tan x as a bisective, we need to consider corresponding domain and codomain. See, tan x is again positive in first quadrant and third quadrants. In first and third quadrants, tan x is positive, whereas in second and fourth quadrants, tan x is negative. Since we need to consider one positive quadrant and one negative quadrant, and that too if the region is symmetric, then it is comfortable to analyze. So for that I am considering this first quadrant along with the fourth quadrant, again just like sine. Okay, why? Because see, tan x is negative in fourth quadrant, tan x is positive in first quadrant, so all the values, negative values are covered in fourth quadrant angles, positive values are covered with the first quadrant angles. So if our x values are from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, tan x maps from that minus pi by 2 to the real numbers is a bisective function. Here this pi by 2 and minus pi by 2 are neglectable values. Why? Because tan of pi by 2 is infinity, okay, which is not exist in real numbers. Tan of minus pi by 2 is also not there in real numbers, and that's why, see, we need to consider the domain of tan x as open interval minus pi by 2 to the real numbers. Just observe here, for sin x the domain is closed interval minus pi by 2 to the pi by 2, but whereas for tan x the domain is open interval minus pi by 2 to the pi by 2 and the range is all real values. Okay, see, from minus infinity to infinity all the real values are possible as a range for this tan x, and since the range of tan x is all the real values, then the domain of tan inverse x is the real numbers and the range of tan inverse x is this domain minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, so this is about the tan x. And the next thing we need to discuss about cot x. Okay, again to make an inverse cot function, inverse trigonometric cot function, we need a bisective cot x. So having a bisective cot x is simply nothing but we need to construct cot x with the domain and codomain, with the domain and range such that it is bisective. For that again we need to consider one positive quadrant and one negative quadrant for the cot x. See, cot x is again positive in first quadrant, negative in second quadrant, positive in third quadrant, negative in fourth quadrant. Here for cot x, okay, we will consider this first and second quadrants as the domain. One positive and one negative we need to consider. Okay, these are the standard fundamental domains and the ranges we need to accept in such a way and we need to proceed. Okay, right. So now the domain for cot x is from open interval 0 to pi. Here 0 and pi are again neglectable. Why? Because cot 0 is again infinity, not exist in the reals. Cot pi is also infinity, not exist in the reals. That's why this 0 and pi are not included in the domain, but every real angle which is in between 0 to pi are included. So the domain for cot x is this 0 to pi and the range is again all the real values from minus infinity to infinity. Again you just pay attention, for cos x the domain is closed interval 0 to pi, whereas for cot x the domain is open interval 0 to pi and the range is all the real values. Then this range of cot x will become the domain for the cot inverse x as reals, and the range of cot inverse x is the domain of cot x 0 to pi. So this is about the cot x. Here we are discussing the domains and the ranges for the trigonometric functions as well as the inverse trigonometric functions. Okay, and we need to accept these domains. Okay, these domains of trigonometric functions are the standard fundamental domains and we need to accept these domains. Okay, from there we need to construct the ranges as well as the inverse trigonometric functions. Right, now coming to cot x is clear, right? Cot x, we use cot x the first and the second quadrants. So again this is cot x and this is cot x. Okay, Next, cosecant x. See, for cosecant x, the range of sin x is from minus 1 to 1, then the range of cosecant x is not there in between minus 1 and 1, because cosecant x is just the reciprocal of sin x. Since sin x values always in between minus 1 and 1, cosecant x values are always outside of minus 1 and 1, either side of minus 1 and 1. See, my left side of minus 1 as well as the right side of 1, which can be represented in interval notation as minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity is the range for the cosecant x, because it is the reciprocal of sin x, as we know. And whereas coming to the domain, again we need to consider one positive quadrant and one negative quadrant for cosecant x. Cosecant x is clearly where positive negative in third quadrant as well as positive in first quadrant. So cosecant x is from minus pi by 2 0 union 0 to pi by 2. Minus pi by 2 union 0, pi by 2 to 0 union 0 to pi by 2. We need to eliminate this 0 from the values of minus pi by 2 pi to pi by 2, because at cosecant 0 the value is infinity, which is not included. Okay, that's why we use open intervals at infinity. See, as I mentioned you, real numbers are there up to infinity, but infinity is not there in real numbers, and that's why, see, cosecant 0 is not exist in real numbers, so we need to eliminate that 0. So now the cosecant inverse x, just the range of cosecant x is the domain of cosecant inverse x, as well as the domain of cosecant x is the range of cosecant inverse x. Okay, we need to memorize the domain and ranges of trigonometric functions as well as the inverse trigonometric functions. Okay, and after that at the end we have secant x. Again for secant x, the domain is the first and second quadrants, and we need to exclude pi by 2, because at pi by 2 again secant x is infinity. We need to eliminate that. Then the domain of secant x is simply nothing but 0 to pi except that pi by 2. Okay, every value from 0 to pi is there for secant x in the domain, but pi by 2 we need to exclude, right? And that's why the domain is from 0 pi by 2 to union pi by 2 to pi. Again the range is just the reciprocal of cos x. Again here the range is not in between minus 1 and 1, either side of minus 1 and 1, left side of minus 1 or right side of 1, which can be represented in such a way: minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. That range will become the domain for this secant inverse x, and this domain will become the range for that secant inverse x. So at the end, these are the domains and the ranges for the trigonometric functions as well as for the inverse trigonometric functions. And these domains of trigonometric functions we need to accept like a standard fundamental domains. With that domains only, those trigonometric functions will become bisective, and the inverses also will become bisective. Okay, right? To exist that bisectiveness of this inverse trigonometric functions as well as the trigonometric functions, we need to accept the domains and ranges in such a way. Okay, and once at the end, when you think about the domains of all these things to define inverse trigonometric functions, see, for sin x, cosecant x, for sin x, the domain is included in fourth and first quadrants. For cos x, the domain is first and second quadrants. For tan x, the domain is again fourth and first quadrants. For cot x, again it is first and second quadrants. For cosecant x, fourth and first quadrants. For secant x, again first and second quadrants. But this third quadrant is not used to make a domain for these trigonometric functions in defining the inverse trigonometry. Okay, so this third quadrant, we are not using this third quadrant in defining all these things. Okay, just we are using these three quadrants. Among these three quadrants, we need to consider two quadrants, and among those two quadrants, one quadrant is corresponding to the positive values and the other quadrant is corresponding to the negative values. So for suppose if anybody asks you to mention the domain of tan x or the range of tan inverse x, you need to think about these three quadrants. Among these three quadrants, one positive and one negative we need to accept, and that to be symmetrical, so we need to accept the fourth and first. Like that we need to recall the domains and the ranges of all these trigonometric functions. Okay, at the end just have a look and I will continue. So see here just I corrected, okay, this is closed interval, not open interval, right? And now at the end, once if you look everything for trigonometric functions, it may be sine, cos, tan, cot, cosecant, secant. The domains are the angles. Okay, remember, okay, just identify it. The domains are the angles for the trigonometric functions and the ranges are the numbers. Whereas for inverse trigonometric functions, the domain is the real numbers, whereas the range is the real angles. Okay, just I am erasing this. Okay, you need to identify that for trigonometric functions and for inverse trigonometric functions. For trigonometric functions, the domains are the real angles, whereas the range is real numbers. Whereas for inverse trigonometric functions, the real numbers are the domains, whereas the real angles are the range. Okay, so you need to identify it. Okay, so and the corresponding real angles and the corresponding real numbers, we have a list of all these things and we need to memorize all these things to solve the problems. And see, you need to think about the easy way of memorizing. And easy way of using all these things to solve the problems. Okay, right. So and afterwards you just make a list of domain and ranges of all these functions for 6 trigonometric functions as well as for 6 inverse trigonometric functions. You just try to make a table which indicates the domain and ranges of all these 12 functions. Okay, right. And after this I will give you some simple problems how to calculate the values and everything. Okay, and before that, first of all you just have a look, and I have one more thing. Here sin x is from this minus pi by 2 to the minus 1 to 1, and this sin inverse x is from minus 1 to minus pi by 2 pi by 2. Okay, so with this domain and with this codomain, okay, corresponding values, since these two functions are bisective, the composition is clearly an identity function. As I discussed for sin x, the same thing is acceptable for all the 6 trigonometric functions. Okay, so just I will write that for sin x. Okay, in this space, the same space I will use to write for sin x. Okay, what I will conclude is, just have a look. Sin inverse of sin x is equals to x, as well as sin of sin inverse y is equals to y. Okay, so sin inverse and sin, they are inverses of one another. Just like f circle f inverse is the identity, as well as f inverse circle f is also identity. But these two are true depending on the values of x and y. So that's what I am mentioning here. Sin inverse of sin x is always x. For x in the domain, sin of sin inverse y, okay, sin inverse y, I am saying as sin inverse y. So this y is from the domain of sin inverse, right? So these two are acceptable just for x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and for y belongs to minus 1 to 1. Okay, so if x is there in that range, closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and if y is there in this range minus 1 to 1, then only this sin inverse of sin x is equals to x and sin of sin inverse y is equals to y. Okay, if this y is not in between this minus 1 and 1, if this y is any other number outside of this interval, then this is not acceptable. Okay, pay attention. As well as if x is in this interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, then only this sin inverse of sin x is equals to x is acceptable. If the x is outside of this range of angles, after that pi by 2 or before this minus pi by 2, then this sine inverse of sine x is equals to x is not acceptable. These two are true, always true, only if that x is in this region and y is in this region. Similar discussion we need to do for cos, tan, cot and everything. Okay. Now I am rewriting this cos x and cos inverse x. Okay. So here 0 to pi and minus 1 to 1. Okay. When I will try to rewrite this, yeah, just have a look. Cos inverse of cos x is equals to x, as well as cos of cos inverse y is equals to y. Again, whenever these two are acceptable, these two are acceptable for x belongs to closed interval 0 to pi, as well as y belongs to the closed interval minus 1 to 1. As I mentioned you, see cos inverse of cos as well as cos of cos inverse. See cos inverse of cos, in the bracket here we have cos. For that cos, the inputs are the angles. So the input is angle, the output is the angle. That angle must be in between this 0 to pi, then only this is true. And for cos of cos inverse, in the bracket it is cos inverse. Cos inverse is inverse trigonometric, and for this inverse trigonometric the input is the real numbers, so the output is also real numbers. Since the input is real, the output is also real, because just like f circle f inverse which indicates the identity, so input and output are same only if that y is in this interval minus 1 to 1. Okay, if that y is outside of that minus 1 to 1, if that y is any number like 3, then it is not true. Okay, cos of cos inverse 3 is equals to 3 is not correct, but cos of cos inverse 1 by 2 is equals to 1 by 2 is correct. Why? Because that 1 by 2 is there in this region, but 3 is not there in this region. Similarly, this cos inverse of cos x is equals to x is also acceptable if that angle is there in between 0 and 2 pi. Okay. So if you need, I will give you some simple examples. So for suppose cos inverse cos of 2 pi by 3 is equals to how much? We need to think about that angle 2 pi by 3. 2 pi by 3 is an angle just like 120, so it is clearly less than pi. So your answer is 2 pi by 3 only. But whereas if anybody asks you cos inverse cos of, instead of 2 pi by 3, for suppose if you take 5 pi by 4, that 5 pi by 4 is not an angle in the range 0 to pi. So this is not equals to 5 pi by 4. Since this is not equals to 5 pi by 4, we have some other ways of calculation, and I will explain you in the next point. Okay. So similarly, we need to think about tan x. For tan x, again you just think about the domain as well as the range. Here the range, domain as well as the range. I am erasing this and I will rewrite it. Okay. Just have a look. So at the end we have that tan inverse of tan x is equals to x, and tan of tan inverse y is equals to y, and these are true for x belongs to, yeah, tan x. X means angle. What are the angles? Okay, x belongs to the open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, whereas y belongs to all the real numbers. Okay. Yeah, similarly we do the similar type of discussion for cot x also. For cot x, what we have? For cot x, cot inverse of cot x is equals to x, and cot of cot inverse y is equals to y. Here we are giving x for this and the x is the result. Here we are giving y for this and the y is the result. And whenever it is correct for x belongs to the angles 0 to pi, as well as for y belongs to the real numbers. So in a similar way we can write for cosecant x and for secant x also. You just memorize the domains and the ranges, and I will erase it and I will write for you. Okay. Yeah. So what we have at the end? Cosecant inverse of cosecant x is equals to x, as well as cosecant of cosecant inverse y is equals to y. So cosecant x, this x should be angle, the result is the angle, here it is the number and the result is the number, and whenever they are correct, they are not always correct, they are correct only if for the suitable x and y. So, and we know the corresponding x and y, okay, what is the x here? For x belongs to the angle, right? The angles are what? Minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 except that 0. So minus pi by 2 to 0 union 0 to pi by 2 is the x, and the y is simply nothing but minus infinity to minus 1 is closed, right? Union 1 to infinity. This is cosecant inverse of cosecant x. In a similar way, you can write for secant inverse of secant x as well as secant of secant inverse y. You just do for secant, okay? Just have a look. And now I will give you some simple problems and simple ways to calculate these values using the data, okay? So, some simple problems, and then in the next point I will give you sine of sine inverse of sine, cos of cos inverse of cos type of problems. But here simply I am giving just simple problems, okay? See, as we discussed, for this sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, cosecant inverse, cot inverse and secant inverse, for all these functions, what are the ranges? The range, okay, once again I explain for you, the range for sine inverse x is in first and fourth quadrants, okay? Yeah, the range for sine inverse x is in the first and fourth quadrants, whereas the, see, I will write here itself. The range for sine inverse x is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, which indicates that the range is in first and fourth quadrants. Here cos inverse, see, cos inverse, the range is in first and second quadrants, 0 to pi. Whereas tan inverse, the range is again first and fourth quadrants, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And cosecant inverse, the range is from again what, first and fourth quadrants, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 except 0. Cot inverse, the range is first and second quadrant except that, see, 0 to pi. Whereas secant inverse, again the range is first and second quadrant except that pi by 2. So these are the ranges as we discussed. So third quadrant is never included in these ranges. That's one idea. And now since we are going to calculate sine inverse of 1 by 2. See, what you know about the value of, see, sine inverse of 1 by 2 means we need to think about an angle from first quadrant or from the fourth quadrant such that it is 1 by 2. Okay, since we know the value of sine 30 degrees is 1 by 2, that 30 degrees is simply nothing but pi by 6. So this sine inverse of 1 by 2 is pi by 6, right? And then cos inverse of minus root 3 by 2. We need to search for an angle whose result is minus root 3 by 2. Cos inverse of minus root 3 by 2. See, here the angle is a negative number. Since the angle is negative, see, since the number minus root 3 by 2 is a negative number, since the number is negative, whenever you will get, see, what I am saying is cos inverse of minus root 3 by 2 we need to find. For suppose if you consider that cos theta is equals to minus root 3 by 2. We don't know its value. For suppose if you say this as some theta, then cos theta is minus root 3 by 2. This minus root 3 by 2 is a negative number. That means cos theta is negative. Cos theta is negative in first quadrant or second quadrant? In second quadrant only. And that's why you need to search for an angle from the second quadrant such that cos theta is minus root 3 by 2. So what is the angle? Yeah, this is simply nothing but minus root 3 by 2 is cos again 30 degrees, right? Pi by 6. Cos 30 degrees is root 3 by 2 minus cos 30 degrees. So this can be rewritten as this is equals to cos of pi minus pi by 6. 180 minus theta. Cos of 180 minus theta is minus cos theta. So minus cos of this angle is nothing but cos of pi minus pi by 6, which is cos of 5 pi by 6, and that theta is 5 pi by 6. So cos inverse of minus root 3 by 2 is simply nothing but 5 pi by 6. This 5 pi by 6 is an angle from the second quadrant. So acceptable. Then tan inverse of minus 1. See, tan inverse of 1 is pi by 4. Tan 45 degrees is 1. In a similar way, tan of minus 45 degrees is also minus 1. Here, since it is minus 1, so we need to choose the angle from the fourth quadrant, which are just symmetrical to the first. So your answer is minus pi by 4. Again, cosecant inverse minus 1 by 2. See, cosecant inverse minus 1 by 2. Just think about it. See, cosecant inverse, this is the value, the number is given. The number given for cosecant inverse. For cosecant inverse, the domain is either side of minus 1 and 1, not in between minus 1 and 1. Okay, this minus 1 by 2 is a number which is in between minus 1 and 1. So this is not acceptable as a domain for cosecant inverse. So this value not exist. Okay. And now cot inverse of minus 1 by root 3. So this minus 1 by root 3, cot inverse. So again, if you don't know it, just take them as some theta. Okay. So in a similar way, if you are searching to solve, let it as cot theta is equals to minus 1 by root 3. That minus 1 by root 3 is simply nothing but minus cot of which angle it is? 1 by root 3. Yeah, 60 degrees, right? 60 degrees means cot pi by 3. So minus cot pi by 3 is nothing but cot of pi minus pi by 3. Cot of pi minus pi by 3 is how much? Cot 2 pi by 3. So 2 pi by 3 is the angle in the second quadrant, which results as minus 1 by root 3. Then secant inverse of 1. So 1 is a positive number. Okay. Yeah. Which value we need to accept? Maybe it is 0, right? Cos 0 degrees is 1. Secant 0 degrees is 1. Secant inverse of 1 is 0. So its answer is 0. So to answer this type of problems, we need to have a command on the trigonometry. Okay. Trigonometric values. You see, way of finding aligned angles in trigonometry. All these things we need to know. Okay. Right. With the help of all this, it is very easy to find these inverse trigonometric values. Just have a look.